Hello and welcome YouTube and Dawn community. Welcome into yet another of my build highlight videos. This time it is yet another league specific, community league specific build. This is a spam cold Reap Spirit Reaper. So the idea behind this entire concept was to, well, have a Reap Spirit Reaper, right? Like the class is called Reaper after all, so why not make a build around Reap Spirit on a Reaper? And then also this league, right, has 3 new items supporting Cold Reap Spirit. There is Alostria Spirit Catcher, there is Tyrgan's Soul Tether, and Gabriel Thun's Heart. So let's start with the first one that you usually would get the first, right? If you would start playing this while leveling, I would not necessarily recommend you to level with this because you kind of need all 3 items to make this properly work. However, you could also level with this and use Reap Spirit alongside other skills as more like a supportive nuke. So first of all, Tyrgan's Soul Tether, right? Tyrgan's Soul Tether reduces the cooldown of Reap Spirit by 1 second, adds a small chance to freeze to Reap Spirit, and also converts the Aether damage of Reap Spirit to cold. And then also reduces the skill energy cost that it needs, right? So you kind of make up for the fact that it has less cooldown, and thus you would need more energy to use this more often, right? This also converts piercing damage to cold globally as long as you're using Spectral Binding. So as long as you are a Necromancer, basically, all pierce damage that your character deals will be converted to cold damage. Which means that stuff like Bone Harvest, the pierce damage on Bone Harvest is cold, or the pierce damage on the Nightblade tree, right, is cold as well. For example, you could probably use this for Phantasma Blades. The entire Dual Blades line you cannot use this for because this is an offhand, right? You cannot, well, dual wield with an offhand, of course. And then also there is the Blade Spirits, right? The Blade Spirits are by default Pierce, Bleed, and Cold damage, and then all the Pierce damage will be converted to Cold with the global conversion on the Spectral Binding ability. It also has chance to Impaired Aim for Blade Spirit, but that's whatever, I guess. The next item, right, this one reduces Reap Spirit's cooldown again by 0.5 seconds and adds a chance to deal additional chaos damage to Reap Spirit. This is not necessarily aimed towards this kind of build. It is there for a chaos Reap Spirit version that you could also play, but I haven't really seen this properly in this league at least, but maybe in the future we'll see a chaos Reap Spirit build as well. Then also this adds a flat resistance reduction, 25 to Reap Spirit, so this means that you don't necessarily have to take devotions like Elemental Storm, for example. Then also it converts 60% acid damage to cold damage to Reap Spirit. Now you might think, wait, Reap Spirit doesn't even have any any acid damage on itself. Well, that is true, but Reap Spirit also has up to 300% weapon damage, right? It has up to 300% weapon damage, and if you're using a Nightblade as a secondary, then you do have acid damage from, for example, Lethal Assault, or poison damage from Mercer's Repertoire, and then this metal converts 60% of that acid damage to cold damage. And then it also comes again with skill energy cost reduction, because why not, right? The third one, Alostria Spirit Catcher, has another -1 second to Reap Spirit, and also makes your Reap Spirits, like the pets, not live anymore, they just die instantly, basically. So this one basically disables the use of Reap Spirit for pets, so you cannot use this for pets really, but also it reduces the recharge of Reap Spirit again. And if you look at this, right, you have -1 second here, with -1 second here, 0.5 seconds here, and the skill by default has a 2.5 second cooldown. So with these 3 items it becomes spammable. Right, so if you have all 3 items, you can then spam Reap Spirit. This means you're spamming an ability that has 300% weapon damage. That is quite potent. On the other hand, Reap Spirit is a point-and-click single target ability, so it's still only single target damage. This thing also converts physical damage to cold, so say you are using a physical weapon that has physical damage on it. I'm not, but if you were, then that would also be converted to cold damage. And yeah, it also adds the A Shred on top of to Reap Spirit. So yeah, these seem like so many skill modifiers for one single skill. However, Reap Spirit also kind of needs that to be a viable main damage skill for a single target at least. And well, with this build it really is a viable single target skill. like a main skill for single target. Yeah, but if you don't have the league, right, if you're not playing the league, then obviously you cannot play this build. So yeah. Okay, so how does it look like to spam this ability? It just looks like this, right? It looks a little, well, weird. You can like this or not. I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, you have the Leviathan devotion attached to this right here, so that's why it's like spawning these whirlpools as well. Anyway, let's move on with the gear. Now that we're just already talking about gear, let's just move on with the gear. I'm also using Hagoradian Enforcer. There are technically better melee weapons that you could use for damage from Reap Spirit. However, if you're using a melee weapon, then it's super annoying to apply lethal assault, right? Like, you're basically a ranged build, right, with Reap Spirit. So you wanna not go into melee range and use lethal assault melee. You wanna just shoot like this and then get your lethal assault buff like this, right? So because of that, I'm basically using the pistol. And the pistol also gives me another +2 points to lethal assault. And yeah, that's basically why I'm using the pistol. Chest of Frost Red Cuirass. Very standard, like, good chest piece for cold damage. Very, very nice. My pants are Rhymestone Leggards. You can also definitely use Reaper's Pants. If you have like really good Reaper's Pants, they have +3 Blade Spirits and +3 Soul Harvest. They should be, with proper rolls, definitely a bit better than this one. I was kind of struggling with Stun Rest though, that's why I have Rhymestone Leggards right here as well. For the belt, of course, you're using a Gargoyle's Waistguard, right? You want to convert Vitality damage globally to cold as well, because first of all, Reap Spirit has Vitality Decay on the ability itself, and then you can also boost the, well, weapon damage of Reap Spirit with Soul Harvest, and Soul Harvest is cold and Vitality damage, so you want to be able to convert this Vitality damage to cold as well. And how do you do that? Well, Gargoyle's Waistguard has Vit to cold, Terragon's Soul Tether has Vit to cold, and Illustrious Spirit Catcher has Vit to cold, so you really only need like these 2 new items, and then like the Gargoyle's Waistguard, and then you should already have basically like 100% conversion Vitality to cold. For the boots, I'm using Mythical Amatok Step. Just like overall solid cold boots, have health, Fizz Res, rather defensive DA as well. Kind of all you need, right? And then also Mythical Aether Reach has the final -1 second recharge to Reap Spirit. So I was actually lying earlier, like this kid has 3.5 second recharge, not 2.5, right? What am I saying? Yeah, Aether Reach, Mythical Aether Reach is the final piece, the final component that you need to make Reap Spirit spammable, right? So it has 3.5 by default, and this is the last second that you will need to make Reap Spirit spammable. For shoulders, I'm using Dominator's Moosey Shoulders of Fortitude. Just like, you can use whatever you want here, honestly. You can use like Hara's Shoulders, those are really good. Moosey's Shoulders, if you get like anything that's like the proper affixes, like Dominator's affix prefix is a physical resistance affix, so that's always good. For the ring, 1 living ring here of the Winter Storm even has +9 chill, very, very lucky suffix here for me. And then 1 Sign of the Runefather, because you want to max out those Blade Spirits as well, to, or at least like get them 24 points. I think I actually have them at 26 even, yeah, 26 points to Blade Spirits. And yeah, Sign of the Runefather does help you out with that. If you have the Reaper Pants, right, they have +3 to Blade Spirits. You could drop this and then you would still have like 25 points of Blade Spirits. That might be worth it if you're using then a, what is it called, like the Resistance Reduction ring for cold resistance reduction. You could use that one instead, that would be really nice as well. You could also use the Resistance Reduction ring instead of the Living Ring here. That is also fine. Eternal Haunt, I think it's called. Band of Eternal Haunt is the ring. If you look at the stats of this build, right, away in the A is a little low, but you have Night's Chill, or like rather Veil of Shadow, with away Shred, and then you have the A Shred on Reap Spirit. So it's actually still fine, the numbers are fine, but like barely fine, right? Anyway, let's talk about the skill point allocation. So we are a Reaper, so not by the Necromancer. The main ability is Reap Spirit, maxed out of course. The other secondary main ability is Blade Spirits, also maxed out. And then the remainder of the build is just like getting all the resistance reduction, like Night's Chill, right? You want 10 points Veil of Shadow, 16 points Night's Chill. Then you want 1 point Emerald Blade Burst, that's actually +9 here. And then you want Lethal Assault maxed, because you want to get that flat damage for the weapon damage of Reap Spirit. Same reason why you have 1 point Boar Harvest, 1 point Dread, and a maxed out Soul Harvest. That is also here for the weapon damage of Reap Spirit. Then in the Nightblade tree, of course, you always want Magnetic Burst, right? This is always a must-have on every single Nightblade. 12 points are good, 15 points are good for total speed. Shadow Dance, 12 points are good, and then like every second point after that, like 14, 16 and so on. For the A and like Dodge. 1 point Elemental Awakening. You could put more points here. If you feel like that's good, you could do that. I feel like always Elemental Awakening is... At least on hardcore, there are always like other stuff that you want to max out over Elemental Awakening. But if you want more damage, you can certainly put more points here. 1 point Ring of Steel, 1 point Ring of Frost to convert us to cold, and 1 point Circle of Slaughter for the fumble is actually surprisingly good still. You might think, where does a caster, why do I need Ring of Steel, right, it's melee range? But I mean, things that want to attack you in melee will close the gap eventually to you, and then you want the Ring of Steel to make them at least fumble and have basically 24% of their hits missed in the first place before they even like can hit you. 12 points Phantasmal Armor. I really like this ability nowadays. It's actually getting better even on the next patch, right? Even more armor on 1.1.9.4. Has Pierce Rest, Freeze Rest, Petrify Rest, Flat Armor, also Energy Leech and Energy Absorb for enemy spells. Really, really nice. I would 12 out of 12 this on pretty much any Nightblade if I can. That's that. 1 point Anatomy of Murder. If you're not playing a Bleed or Pierce or anything that scales with Cunning or a Vitality Nightblade, then you want to always like only 1 point, I think. So yeah, 1 point here, 1 point Merciless Repertoire, and then a Necromancer tree assigned from the Bone Harvest. We also have the Spectral Binding, max out just for health and away. 1 point Spectral Wrath. This is kind of useless. Apart from the attack speed debuff, right, minus 10% attack speed on enemies is still somewhat useful. 10 points in Omen for damage reduction, of course, right? You want 10 or 12 or 14 points here. I could probably like, put us to 12 even as well. That wouldn't be that bad. 6 point Mark of Torment. You want at least 6 points here in every single build, right? And then you couldn't put more if you have points to spare. But 6 points is like the best value, and then after that the points are kind of mediocre. But you can still put more points here if you just want more absorption. I mean, this is a good skill after all. And then the exclusive, last but not least, right, is Harbinger of Souls. It has no % cold damage, but it has more lifesteal, more casting speed, more flat and vitality decay damage, which will be also converted to cold with the belt and the other items. So this is very, very much useful. All of this means that if you use all your buffs right properly, then you will have a sheet DPS of 367k here with the Creep Spirit. I think I hit like 800 or 900k almost in Shadow Realm with the, well, souls and then like the proper all-around shrines and so on. This character pushed all the way to 76. I use this one to do the SR76 for my points in the league. And yeah, so the build works. It also killed Ravager. Of course, Lokar and the other dungeons are not that hard on this character either. Yeah, Ravager was actually... the build can't really face the Ravager that well. I guess stage 1 it can actually if you play it properly. Stage 2, you need to properly kite around Mark of Torment. Like whenever Mark of Torment is up, you can face tank, otherwise you can't. But lifesteal is very good, so even though Ravager has high life leech resistance, you can still leech quite noticeably. If you want to leech even more of stuff like Ravager, you can also consider getting the Ratosh Devotion. This entire devotion does give you not any single like cold damage percentage node, but it has life leech resistance reduction on the proc. It also has vitality damage here, which you convert to cold damage as well, so it's like at least some damage there as well. And also flat vitality damage here actually, which also would help you out with like the weapon damage on Reap Spirit as well. The devotions that I'm actually using though are Ultos, right? Ultos devotion for percent resistance reduction. It's not really that necessary though. Leviathan, just like a decent tier 3 cold devotion, right? I don't need Elemental Storm because I have the RR on Reap Spirit. Rumor for cold resistance reduction, as I must have on every single cold build. Fillers like Empty Throne and Owl to get the affinity. I mean, Empty Throne for like stun rest as well is really important. Owl, not quite as important. You can like use whatever you want to instead. Actually, Quill is a fine like 3-piecer here. You can also use Toad instead of Quill. That's not as bad. Like that's not bad either. Ghoul, because we are using a weapon damage based skill, right? So Ghoul is really good. Whenever there's procs, you will heal basically for 1 billion. And Ghoul also works well with Bat, and Bat works well here because we do convert all the vitality globally to cold again, right? So Bat is very nice, like very nice for healing here, for additional healing. Spider, of course, for casting speed and yellow affinity, and then Sailor's Guide and EL for the 10 blue that we need for Ultos, and then Amatok for, well, just like another cold proc, and then procnet here with the Nemesis pet. You can also use Nidalas Relic, of course, instead of that, and then you would have to proc the Blizzard with something else. But I didn't even have Nidalas in the league so far, so I'm using Nemesis here instead, which is not a bad cold. It's not a bad cold relic either, and I even got like +1 lethal assault on the completion bonus, so I can't complain at all. Anyway, this is this cold Rip Spirit Reaper, at least on paper. Let me show you some clips of this in combat, like some gameplay clips, and I hope you can enjoy the league, this build, any other build that you're playing in this league or outside of the league. And yeah, happy Grim Dawning. Hope to see you around on the next one. Take care, and I'll see you around. Alright, so how do you engage against Theoden, right? You always use Mark of Torment if you're playing a Reaper. And also, like, ideally you wanna put an Omen on him as well already. Before you get hit by the shotgun, or like the projectiles. Okay. Yeah, single target is still good, right? Not gonna lie, it's still good. And let's do Father Kaiman, right? 2.7k OA and DA. That's rather low, but we have like debuffs, right?
It is too late.
It is too late, my chosen. That's like the worst scenario that can happen. Like, you have Mark of Torment on him because it's freaking belly burst, but then he dies and the projectiles are in the air about to hit you, and then your Mark of Torment is gone because of belly burst, like because of him dying. Nice Mark of Torment. Did you see the Mark of Torment? I had it on him, right? Dude, why is this area like always potato quality? Like, you see, I'm pressing it here, right? You see this? I'm pressing it, right? Like, it's... You see this, right? It's like... It's being pressed, but it doesn't go through. Right? Yeah, it's being pressed, but it doesn't go through. Like, yeah, like, here was the perfect timing to use it. Like, I was pressing it here. I didn't spam it enough, though. And it didn't go through, right? And then... The thing is, right, like, he died, and those are in the air. So the second he dies, Mark of Torment would have been gone anyway, or like I thought it's gone anywhere here, which is why I was prepared to. I should have just Blade Barrier, but instead I guess I wasn't prepared for Blade Barrier, but then like yeah. Okay, I mean I did press the heal at least, and then cluster like 10 decades too late. Okay, that cluster was garbage. I have long COVID, dude. Kind of feels like that, even though I didn't even like get COVID in the first place. Alright, Korvac. Korquack. Alright. Rank 18. Let's... almost. Alright. Not too bad. It's fine. Fine kill. I'm not stalling at all, dude. Why would I be stalling? Okay, oh yeah, Bleed Spirits. Wait, do Blade Spirits proc this shit? Yeah, I do, right. some engines or whatever you want to use it for. And oh, it's Zephyrus as well, yeah, Monko. That guy actually hurts with his rocks. Yep, rock. Hey, we got to see the Zephyrus as well. That's more than enough. Alright, not too bad, as long as you have the Mark of Torment on him all the time, and like... I mean the El Omen and the Mark of Torment whenever you have your damage reduction debuff on you. It's not that hard actually in this mode, it's fine. Let's see how we die to Ravager. Praise Ravager. Oh my god, I ran into that. I ran into that fucking thing. Okay. Dude, the orb is actually insane on this build. Wait. Where's my stuff? Where's my, like... Where's my plate spirits, dude? What? Did I... Oh my god, where are all my pets? What happened? What is wrong with me today? Like... I'm playing, like... First time grown Dawn ever, right? Where is he? There he is. And there he's done. Holy fuck, dude, this is not a good Ravager color in this build. But hey, it's done. It is not a good Ravager killer, but it's done. Took you long enough. Yeah, indeed.